Hello, everybody. Melissa here. So I want to take just a quick moment to talk about a really important principle, one of the principles of intuitive eating called respect your body. I love this one so much because I think what it does is it kind of takes away the emphasis of having to always feel positive about our body and instead focus on how we are treating our body regardless of how we feel. Because let's be honest, we're not all going to have days where we just love our body and feel great about it. No matter who you are, you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. But one of the things we can start working on is treating our body with respect, no matter how we feel. So I want to show you just a few things. Let me do a quick screen share here and get rid of this. Okay, so let's talk about this principle, respect your body. There's 5 things that we want to look at when we talk about body respect. The first one is accepting your body's genetic blueprint, right? We are all created differently. If every single human on the planet ate the exact same things and worked out the exact same amount, we would still see a wide range of different body shapes and sizes, right? We would see people that are pear-shaped and people that are more ruler-shaped and people with bigger hips and smaller hips and more fat and less fat and taller and shorter and all of those things. So there's a lot of pressure to sort of fit our body into this box, right? This one way that we're supposed to look, and it can feel exhausting. So the first thing is just accepting your body's genetic blueprint. It's okay to carry fat on your body. It's okay if your hips, aren't super tiny, or that your thighs touch, or that your stomach's not completely flat. In fact, most people, unless you're doing some sort of extreme diet, are probably not going to see those things. That is actually a very normal body. So again, just accepting that there are certain probably genetic limitations to how much your body can change. And that's okay. That's completely okay. In fact, we can learn to sort of not just accept those things, but to start to partner with our body. And I think that leads into the second one here, which is have gratitude for your body. Gratitude is such a powerful emotion. And what we're trying to do here is shift from thinking so much about what our body looks like and become more grateful for what our body allows us to do. Even the simple act of being able to get up and walk around is really, it's a privilege. It's something that we can be incredibly grateful for. So shifting our attention again, when you start to get into your head about how your body is looking, if you can shift into, wait, what am I grateful for that my body can do? Again, we're partnering with our body instead of making it the enemy. Number 3, practice respectful behaviors towards your body. So again, no matter how you're feeling about it, there's certain things that we want to always show up and do. I think about this in relationship with my children, right? Even if I'm having a bad day with them, even if they're driving me crazy, I'm still going to show up and make sure I'm taking care of them, right? I'm still going to make sure they're getting fed meals and that they're, getting to and from school and that they're dressed and that they're, going to bed on time. I don't stop doing those things because I might be having a bad day with them. And it's the same thing with our body. Regardless of how we're feeling, we're still going to feed our body as nourishing of meals as we can, but we don't want to start to then, punish our body by withholding food, skipping meals, skimping on meals. All of those things end up having a really bad rebound effect for most people, right? When we just end up binge eating later on because we're literally starving our body. So we want to give it rest if it needs rest. We need to give it movement if it needs movement. We want to, again, continue to nourish it and feed it and hydrate it and all of those things, regardless of what kind of day I'm having in terms of how I feel about it. Number 4, stop comparing your body to others. And I know this can be challenging. One of the things to look at, I think, is just what we're surrounding ourselves with. I've made a big goal in the past year to really look at what I have as far as my social media, what I'm looking at. I mean, most people are on social media to some degree, and it has an influence on us. So, if there are accounts that you're following that feel triggering in that way, learning how to put up those healthy boundaries and surrounding yourself more with people that aren't going to trigger you, aren't going to be making you feel bad about yourself or bad about your body, and then looking for those people that are more body positive, body neutral, which just means, again, we're not so much focused on how we look as much as what we can do. So that's something to look at as what we're kind of surrounding ourselves with. And then number 5, alter the language you use when speaking about your body. Be kind or at least neutral. So catch those thoughts. If you're saying really mean things to yourself, I think the best question is, would you ever say this to somebody you love? Or if you heard somebody else say this to somebody you love, if you heard somebody say that to your mom or your sister or your daughter, how would that make you feel? And if it's angry, I'd want to punch you in the face, then you should not be saying those same things to yourself. This is incredibly important and powerful. Now, if you can't jump from mean talk to yourself to kind talk, at least move into a more neutral, right? So like I said before, maybe you can't go from I hate my body to I love my body, but maybe you can go from I hate my body to I'm just grateful that I have a body that is able to get me from point A to point B. This is something you have to be disciplined about. Again, you may not feel it, but start really working on that language, what you're saying to yourself, both externally and internally. Okay, here's some ways that I think that you can actually implement this and start to practice this. The first one is, as I mentioned, I want to show up, we want to take care of our body. I think eating every 2 to 4 hours, this is a way that you're building trust with your body. And of course, we're listening to our hunger and fullness cues, but one of the things I see again with people, especially if they're in a place where they're not feeling a lot of love for their body, is they tend to undereat, skimp on meals, skip meals, and sort of this attempt to correct how they're feeling in their body. And then this often ends up leading to a rebound effect of binging or emotionally overeating later on. So what we're doing here is we're keeping our body fed so that we don't get to those places of extreme hunger or extreme cravings. Okay. Aim for 3 balanced meals per day minimum, right? So some sort of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. When you choose to have those are completely up to you. You may not be somebody who likes to eat first thing in the morning. That's okay. You can wait a little bit. Breakfast literally means we're breaking the fast. So, after sleeping overnight, waking up, whenever you choose to break the fast is fine. But aiming for, no matter how I'm feeling about my body, I'm going to give it 3 balanced meals per day as much as I can. And then of course, if you need some snacks in there, you can do that as well. A third thing I would mention is front load your calories earlier in the day. So again, one of the biggest mistakes I see with people who are feeling not great about their body or maybe starting some sort of health or wellness journey is to go into this diet mentality earlier on in the day. They're eating really small, light breakfast, if any breakfast, really small, light lunch. And they get into those afternoon and evening hours when they're a little bit more vulnerable. They're a little bit more tired. Their energy levels are down, their willpower is down, and now their body is literally starving. And that's when we see a lot of that, that overeating or maybe binge eating in the afternoon, evening hours, because your body is trying to get fuel, and then you're maybe dealing with the emotions of the day and all of that. So for me, one of the most helpful things is to focus on front loading my calories earlier in the day, making sure I'm really getting a nice, healthy, well-balanced breakfast, lunch, so that I go into those afternoon hours feeling somewhat nourished. And then, of course, the other things, like I mentioned, making sure you're hydrated, making sure you're getting enough rest. That's a huge one. Are you doing things to help with stress relief, right? Because we know stress can cause it to be harder to do those other health behaviors. So again, what I love about this principle is we're focusing on respecting our body no matter how we might be feeling about it that day. I'm going to also send you a worksheet, and I'm going to pull this up really quick. And this is just something you can go through and ask yourself these questions. Are you getting the basics? I think this is powerful because oftentimes we're so focused on like doing some new diet or new workout program, and we aren't kind of laying that foundation and giving ourselves the basics first. So I'll send this to you. You can go through and you can kind of see how you answer to these things. But if you notice that, you're not doing a lot of these things, that could be a really great starting point. Just pick 1 or 2 of these that you want to maybe start implementing in as a way to focus in on respecting your body. So I hope that helps. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out. But otherwise, hope this again was helpful and you're able to implement in some of these principles. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.